Hi, welcome to another grammar segment with Professor Dennis. Let's go ahead and start, as always, with a screen share. And we'll get this up nice and big. So we're looking at nouns and all things proper. For this one, we're going to look at some capitalization rules, proper nouns, common nouns, and then the different functions of a noun in a sentence. But to start, let's face it, grammaria is real. And it's something that we must avoid at all costs. It's a very unsightly issue that causes those in the general vicinity to cringe at the painfulness of it. For that reason, we will be examining various aspects of grammar all term long. To start with, when do you capitalize? The very first one would be the proper nouns. These will always be capitalized. You will also capitalize the personal pronoun I. Personal titles, when accompanying the name, will be capitalized. For example, if you're using the word Mr. by itself, it stays lowercase. If you say Mr. Smith, it goes with a name and is capitalized. The word doctor by itself would be lowercase. But as soon as you say Dr. Troy, you have to capitalize it because it goes with that person's name. Next, if you have the titles of creative works, it will be capitalized. This includes movie titles, show titles, book titles, article titles, poem titles, story titles. These are all going to require proper capitalization and either italics or quotation marks, but we'll cover that a little further down the road. For now, just be aware of the capitalization for titles of published pieces. Then you have names of areas and regions. This could be in reference to a state, country, or city, or it could even refer to a regional area such as New England or Midwest. Another group of words that does need to be capitalized is racial groups, ethnic groups, and anything that is considered sacred. For the sacred, if you know anything about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, you know that they have sacrament meeting. The word sacrament would be capitalized because this is a sacred part of their beliefs. For specifics on what each religious group would or would not capitalize, in case you're writing a piece with religious references, please research the region in question to ensure that you're affording them the level of respect assigned to it. Then you have the first word of a sentence or a quoted sentence. For the first letter of a sentence, this is fairly standard. Everyone knows this one by now. If you don't, your word processor usually knows this and capitalizes it for you, but not always. So do make sure you double check. The final on the list for capitalization is capitalizing after a colon, but only sometimes. In most cases, you won't actually capitalize after the colon. The instances where you will capitalize after the colon is if you're using a proper noun or if you're using a full and complete sentence after the colon. For proper nouns, they will always be capitalized. They will be things like a specific person, a specific place, a specific organization, the name of a ship, an event name, or other individual entity name. Common nouns are everyday items. They're generic names: lady, gentleman, countryman. Generic places: home, school, living room. Things in a class or a group: dog, cat, mammal, canine, feline. For a quick visual, I wanted you to see the difference between the common nouns and the proper nouns. If you look at each line, you will see the common noun followed by an example of a proper noun. In some cases, I tried to include the proper nouns that had the common noun as part of the name so that you could see the visual difference. Pause the video and browse through the list to really cement this idea in your head. The noun can function in 8 different locations. And because the pronoun can replace a noun, that means pronouns can function in these spots as well. We're going to look at each of these in turn. The subject is the most common and best known. This is the who or what the sentence is about. It's essentially the equivalent of a star, and everything else is going to act as the backup dancers and singers that add to the main attraction. In this sample sentence, the star is Jill. She's the one performing the action on someone else. The direct object is just referring to whom or what is being acted upon. What does that mean? Let's stick with that same sample sentence. Jill loved Jack. The subject is Jill. She's acting upon Jack with her action of love. So Jack is the direct object. Why is this important? Because this is the direct form of active writing that is strongly encouraged. The passive form would be Jack was loved by Jill. It's a lot wordier, takes a while to get to the point. Next, you have the indirect object. This tells you to whom or for whom. For example, Jerry gave Janice the newspaper. Jerry is our star attraction, so he's the subject. The paper is the what is being given, so that's your direct object. Who is it being given to? Janice. That makes Janice the indirect object. In most cases, your indirect object will be between the subject and the direct object. The predicate nominative is the noun that follows a linking verb. The linking verb acts as an equal sign. It's like saying X is equal to Y. The linking verb is usually some form of to be, is, are, was, were, am. These verbs, when they are alone, act as an equal sign. For those of you who are more mathematically inclined, this should make some sense for you. For example, that man is the girl's father. Man is our subject, father is the predicate nominative, and they're the same thing. The fun thing about this type of construct is you could have it the other way around, and in some cases you might want to just for tone. Here I've switched the subject and the predicate nominative. The sentence still works. The tone is just slightly different. The importance here is for you to be able to play around with sentence constructs and know how you could flip something if you have this type of a sentence. The prepositional phrase is one that adds meaning or information to the sentence. Sometimes the basics just won't do, and we need a little bit more information. For your example, I have bolded the prepositional phrase. The object of the preposition is underlined. In this instance, the word floor gives you more information about where the dog is. If you're in my house, that could be key information since we have 2 dogs right now. For the direct address, this is a noun that directs your statements to someone specific. The example I have here comes from Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. It's the opening of Mark Antony's famous address to rally support. The first 3 words are all a direct address. Note that the direct address is offset by a comma. That's because the direct address is not part of the main sentence. It's almost an interruption to the main sentence. As such, it does need to be separate from the main sentence, like you see here. As a matter of fact, in this example, each direct address is given its own comma to note that each is separate. The appositive is the noun that tells you more about another noun or pronoun in the sentence. In this example, the subject is dog. The appositive tells you more with her name, Althea. Note that this too disrupts the sentence. It's like a character in a TV show, movie, or play that steps aside to explain something to the audience. It's not really a crucial part of the sentence unless you need that specific piece of information. In this case, you would need that information. The other dog in our home is Bella, and she does not come into the office with me. I guess she doesn't like schoolwork. That's okay. She doesn't have to. The objective complement is similar to the appositive. The difference is that it's very specific to the direct object, and it renames the direct object. In the example provided, you have a direct object, Sue Snell. The noun president complements her name by telling you what position she was elected to. The bottom line, do I expect you to memorize each and every term for where a noun fits into a sentence? No, I do not. Do I expect you to grasp the various ways a noun and pronouns can be used in a sentence, and how finding the exact right noun for the exact right place might make a difference in your writing? Yes, that's really the point of this lesson. If you're not an English major or a linguist, you don't have to worry about the terminology I used here today. It's the concepts I want you to grasp and hold on to. That's really what matters when it comes to your writing and improving your writing. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, I do want you to reach out to your professor using that inbox feature in your learning management system. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the flip side.